Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 14th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, with good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We had a good Saturday, not just a good Saturday, but a good Friday. We can go ahead and get into it. It's a lot to roll out. Also, apologies in advance if I've forgotten anything. It all kind of got to a point where it was a blur. So yeah, I'm going to do my best to kind of walk it all down. But yes, let's start back at Friday. Hopefully you did have a good, happy, spooky Friday the 13th. I know for me and myself, it was good. Not too spooky, but definitely fine. We got up, got ourselves together. We get to work, A-okay, no problem. And it was looking like there was going to be enough work to keep me at the crusher all day. Have a classic, nice close out to my week. But I could tell, like, my manager, or not my manager, but my lead was like, they had even come down personally when they could have hit me up on the walkie to kind of check on the situation. They'd also told me, I think earlier in the day, hey, we had 2 call-offs, so I might need you to come up and do putbacks when, you catch up on everything. I'm like, okay, cool. I kind of knew that wasn't really going to happen. Like, I just knew there was going to be enough work and I was going to be able to, like, ride it out. So I thought. But they actually call me on the walkie around 1 and pull me up to do putbacks upstairs, which I was not stoked. I was not thrilled to be doing. It kind of took my mood and, dropped it about a notch or two. And I did about an hour of putbacks, which I haven't done that much in a while. And once I realized, like, oh, people are going home early, I'm just going to do the same. I don't want to be here. I want to start my weekend early. I'm cool off of this shit. So I go to my lead, I get that set up, I get out of there. Now, the initial plan was to go straight to the gym. Stomach wasn't feeling too great, so I beeline home first, have a little reconnoiter, and get myself ready for the gym real quick, go to the gym. I pull up to the gym, and with my friend group that I usually, I go drinking with, we had made an audible. And essentially it was like, okay, actually, instead of Saturday being the main day, let's make Friday night the main day. And I'm like, okay. I mean, hey, this is a dudes rock weekend situation. We got a friend coming in, or who came in from out of town. So, we got to be a little flexible. We got to make this shit happen. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. So my gym routine was immediately shortened from my usual, 2-hour situation. I think I just did Smith machine and some core work, and that was it. So about like 25 minutes or so of work, and I was out of there. No cardio even. Because I just knew that I needed to go back home, get ready and everything like that. I didn't want to be too late. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's just do it like it's a weekend situation, even though it's Friday, whatever. Let's go. So overall, gym went well, for what it was. It was almost like a gym treat, if you will. We get home, get ourselves together, and we are out on the town. We hit Northside, baby. And we start off classic at Chameleon. I get a slice of cheese pizza, a slice of pepperoni pizza, and a Cajun fry. Now, I will mention that they had the shepherd's pie pizza again, and then they also had like this like super mushroom veggie pizza, which my friend ordered, looked pretty good, but I didn't get it. I just got my shit. And, overall, nice little sturdy way to start the night. I get my belly with some food in it. And also, it's worth noting, too, that we are intending to drink tonight. Like, more so than usual. All of us are about to be on our A game. We are about to drink heavy. Because it's Dudes Rock weekend, all right? The dudes are rocking all weekend. So that's what we did, especially for Friday. So, I'm already like, I think at that point, I might have already been on like my 3rd beer. And I was like, all right, we're feeling good. We're feeling great. We go to Tavern. We get some more homies to show up, come through. We're chilling. Now, this is how I know I'm kind of faded a little bit more so than usual, at least my own personal litmus test, is I party foul and knock over my own beer on myself, spilling it on me, like down like my right arm. And I'm like, oh no, I could have just pulled the ripcord right there. I could have, just committed, the seppuku, because I'm cooked. I'm cooked, chat. We're done. It's Jover. But hey, let's just hope this dries and doesn't get too smelly or anything like that. And we'll all forget a couple of years later. And that's what happened. So we wrap up at tavern. Rah, rah, rah. We go into Junks, the old Junkers, the old dive bar, which was a great place to close it out in terms of our bar hop, as per usual. Good string of regulars. We had karaoke. Technically, I sang Night Moves. Technically, I would not call that a debut whatsoever. I was supposed to be a part of the choir, and then next thing you know, I'm arm in arm with the two people who set up the song, and I'm just doing the best, just working on the night move. I'm just doing what I can, okay? And, overall, good time, good rah, rah, rah. Can I say the most wholesome moment for me? This is a personal thing that I'm sharing with y'all and the people who listen. We were chilling outside, having a little smoke break, and a few of the homies are like, we listen to you, man. We listen. And I'm like, shut up. No, you don't. Because, I always get, embarrassed. Because I'm like, I can't believe you guys listen to me flub up, talk shit, all this blah, blah. Just on my fucking Bridget Jones shit. I cannot believe it. And they literally run back my intro. And I'm just like, I love you guys so fucking much. Man, that shit made my heart smile so damn much. So, it was good to just, vibe out with the crew, really have a moment. Let's see. Another wholesome thing that happened, someone I counseled back in my church days. And I had a camp counselor. I think I did it once or twice. And that was for my first run. And they were like, my friend comes, tasks me. He goes, hey, we got to go inside. I got something to show you. And I'm like, all right, yeah. And I thought he was showing me something in the bar. And I'm looking around like, what? And he goes, here. And I'm looking, he goes, do you remember him? And I go, huh? And then he says his name, and then like 3, 2, 1, it clicked. And I was like, oh my God, it's you. He's like, yeah, man, I grew up. And he literally picks me up. It was so crazy. I just couldn't believe, I'm like, dude, you have hang time. Your hair is so long. What? You're a man now, bro. It was so sweet. It was so awesome. Apparently, there was some crossover, 6 degrees of separation type shit. Actually, he worked at a bar with another one of my friends in the group. So it's just that's so cool, man. We're all post, our church vibe situation. But it was nice for us to all kind of reconnect in Northside and, have a good time. So yeah, all the right regulars were out. We had a really buzzing ass time. I think for me, where it got too critical, probably I'll also mark it here. At one point, I just go into interview mode because I was trying to talk to someone and I wanted to I had a question. I had a burning question. I was on an investigative streak, and we're talking. And this is also a homie, so I'm just trying to more or less just catch up with them and figure something out. And throughout this conversation, I get 2 shots of Jägermeister. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, cool. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of it, I figured out what I wanted to know just at the cost of getting probably way too drunk. And if I note it right there, that's probably where we took it too far. But anyway, we wrap up at Junks. We get back to HQ. Now, I gotta say, shout out to a special newsie. Shout out to Kira, because she had told me she actually popped out too at Junks. And, we all get back. She's like, hey, I told you I got a gift for you. Now, in my head, I'm thinking okay, maybe it's a little treat, a little buzzy little treat for me. I would love that, But it was not. There was a bag, and I could already see a little bit under the bag, and there was some Labubu's in that bag. And I was like, oh my God, Kira, bro, no, you did it. She's like, yes, girl, I did. I was like, ah! And I got to pick, out of 4 of them, a Labubu. It felt like Pokemon. It felt like she was like my Professor Oak, giving me, a new journey. And I was so excited. And the one I picked, she's like, I knew you were going to pick that one. I was like, yes, it's just so perfect. It balances out, with the other Labubu. It was good. So yeah, he is now a part of the shrine at home. Nice, safe, and cozy. But yes, so we get to HQ, got a little gift. I'm happy. We chilling real quick. But this was the crown little cherry on top for me. We got to do Dudes Rock Summit. What do we call it? Like Dudes Rock Council Summit, whatever. I don't know. Q1 wrap up. Essentially, one of the homies in the crew, essentially our ordained secretary, if you will, has compiled all the data, and we have been giving running down a weekly question list. I don't know, for a while now, weeks now. And all this data has been compiled, and we ran the slideshow, and it had all our numbers, where we were all ranked in terms of like how much we drank, how much we smoked, blah, 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 all our crash outs. It was so fun. It was so cute. It definitely was humbling in a nice way for me. Because, I don't know, being 35, I feel like I'm getting over the hill. I need to be mindful. I did not mind being at the very bottom rung for drinks. For weekly drinks, that's fine. Because I'm drinking every day. I'm on my podcaster shit. I'm drinking every day. I'm feeling like a baby alcoholic at this point. But that was almost like sobering, if you will. So, then there's also, other things consumed. I did a little bit better there, a little bit of improvement there. But I think one of the funniest observation data points that we all got to get enlightened about was we have a crash out ratio, like an average. And it was like for every 10 beers, it pretty much would equal a crash out for I think that week or something like that. Or just in an aggregate over time on this chart. And I was like, that's so fucking funny. And we were all just gobsmacked by that fact alone. We were just like, that's crazy. That's so crazy, dude. So it was a good time. Just commiserating with the homies, closing out the night. And I say that, closing out the night, because by this point, we kind of yada into the morning. It was definitely a bit of a revelry. But then also a little bit of food corner stop. We made, or I shouldn't say we made, homie made for us some hash browns, some pizza rolls, and some fries. So we got to carb up. It was nice. Then, like I said, we're going to yada a little bit. We're now at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Job's done. Night's over. It's time to pack it and it's time to go. I had to do a bit of a side mission because a homie had left their keys at this place and had gotten an Uber situation or something like that. And I was like, uh-oh, I got it. So I drop off the keys, mission complete there, and I head home. Now, on the way home, I don't know why, because it wasn't that long ago that I just had the fries, the hash browns, and the pizza rolls. I should have been good. Should have been fine and dandy. Not to mention we had the pizza last night with fries. I'm carbed up. I'm carved out of my fucking mind right now. And I'm like, no, it's not enough. I'm ravenous. I need more food. And on my peak gremlin shit, I pull into a McDonald's and I get an order of hotcakes, a sausage McMuffin, a bacon and cheese biscuit, and a strawberry cream pie because I already had too much hash browns, I decided. But I wanted that extra thing. You know, I always get it when I order, at least I usually do. Let's just get that. So I get that yummy little meal, which I will say was actually very fire with the exception of my bacon and cheese biscuit. Like, it just, and I've mentioned this before, when they make that shit right, it literally is, it's perfect. It is the kiss on the mouth from Ronald McDonald that I am looking for with some tongue. When they don't do it right, it is stodgy. It just is like a mealy thing, and it is like a fucking backhanded slap from said Ronald. You know what I mean? So I got the slap today in that regard, but overall everything else was fine in the meal, in the bag. So not really complaining there. Kind of what we get. Now, something I didn't mention from Friday into Saturday that was a little bit of an annoying thing, but luckily kind of dodged until today because I wasn't at home for it, mostly. The wind the wind was rising in this motherfucker in Cincinnati. So the wind had whipped up so much Friday that it knocked out the internet. Not so much the power, but my internet was down and out for like the whole fucking night. So I come home, I'm getting myself situated, and I see my internet's still out. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So I'm just eating my McDonald's, watching shit on my cell phone, hoping it doesn't like, not crash out, but like, without Wi-Fi, hopefully, it works. And it did, I'm just watching some like random poker or something like that. So I eat my food, and overall at that point, I'm like, let's just get some sleep and treat it like we're on our Sunday of shit. You know what I mean? We'll just have a chill Saturday at home. Eventually we'll get to the gym. Sweet. Thumbs up. Let's get some sleep. Let's get some rack time and we'll be good. It was a little cold, so I turn on the heat, get under my blankie. Let's go. I don't know how long I slept, but I think an hour or two go by. I wake up just sweaty as all get out. And then my body, like it felt like a full body cramp, like mostly on my right side, but just like my whole leg was just flared out. And I get up, I realize how sweaty I am. I'm cramped to all shit. And then, speaking of shit, I need to do that. So I violently just, like, I don't know, I'm moving like a Dead Space zombie to the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm going to have to take a shit with cramps. This is insane. Like, how do I do this? How do I manage this? But I do. I rise. I make it happen. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a doozy. Because that was not a fun experience right then and there. I schlepped myself back to the bed, and I proceed to do that maybe like 2 or 3 times between the span of about 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So I had a little bit of an anime resting time for myself, and I get up and I'm like, holy shit, what happened? Where am I? What's going on? Where's Rachel? Yeah, and I'm like, is my Wi-Fi back on finally? And I think at some point it came back on, came back off, and then was back on again. And I'm like, look, as long as it's back on, I'm ready to watch some TV or whatever is available. Cool. So I hang out at the house, do a little bit of gaming for about like an hour or so, maybe 2, I can't quite remember. And then it's about 6. I said 7, but I should have said I got up around like 5, and then around 6 o'clock, I get ready to go to the gym. There we go. I don't know if I got the timeline right or wrong there, but whatever. We get to the gym. I do a full workout. Once again, we're not pushing it too heavy. 275 was like pretty much the max for my bench and my deadlift. Felt like a good workout, but I will say I didn't have that moment where I was like, oh, I'm breaking out into a big sweat for my weight training, which is something I usually look at as like, yeah, good indicator that this was a good workout. But overall, we made the weights move, felt good about it. I decided to kick it up a bit on the Stairmaster and like kind of go back to my old routine of like, let's go 30 seconds fast, 30 seconds slow, 30 seconds fast, and so on and so forth. That was nice. Good way to kick off the cardio. Did a little bit more incline on the treadmill, which was nice. Felt, like, okay, let's try it out, see if it does much of an impact, much of a difference. It really didn't, but it felt like I did more and was locked in, so that was, like, good. And then we did our elliptical and we did our bike, and those were solid endeavors. So, yes, good workout, felt good as compared to the workout from the previous day on Friday. So, one of those we're so back moments. And from there, we go back home, we get our stretch in, we get our snack in, we do some research, which we don't have too much to cover today. Just, a few little odds and ends stories, more or less. And here we are, ready to go. So yeah, that's been my weekend. It's been a fucking fun, radical ass weekend. And it's only Saturday night, switching up the order a little bit. But, this was good. This was nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Oh man. All right. Our first story comes from the Associated Press. Trump says U.S. bombed military sites on an island vital to Iran's oil network. President Donald Trump said the U.S. bombed military sites Friday on an island vital to Iran's oil network, while an American official said 2,500 more Marines and an amphibious assault ship are being sent to the Middle East nearly 2 weeks into the war with the Islamic Republic. Trump said U.S. forces obliterated targets on Iran's Kharg Island, home to the primary terminal that handles the country's oil exports, and warned that the island's oil infrastructure could be next. Just a day before, the Speaker of the Iranian parliament said such a strike would provoke a new level of retaliation. Now, this is interesting because this is yet again just another example of how double-sided this fucking conflict is for America. It's like, okay, you can choose to make this salvo and fuck with Iran further here and fuck with their bag more. And it's like, cool, we've devastated you in a way that will be maybe impossible for you to recover from. You know, hey, that's not regime change, but that's something, right? And it's like, cool, man, but you did it at the expense of fucking oil, which means everyone around the world some way, somehow is going to pay for that decision. And you're okay with that? You're fine with that? Like, it's worth it for you? And Trump is saying right now, yeah, it is. But, I mean, who can say if we actually go all the way through with this and fully commit and actually annihilate this oil? It's like, cool, so you made some fucking black rain, and now the world is out of oil. Is it worth it? Well, I don't know. I guess time's going to tell, but I think the survey is going to give you that X. I don't know. Let's see here. Earlier Friday in the Iranian capital, a large explosion rocked a central square where thousands of people gathered for an annual state-organized rally to support the Palestinians and call for Israel's demise. Israel had warned it would target the area in central Tehran. There were no reports of casualties. The decision to proceed with the demonstration, attended by senior government officials, and Israel's threat to target it underscored the fierce determination on both sides of the war. Fierce determination on both sides in a war that has rattled the global economy and shows no signs of letting up. I'm going to skip a little bit here. The humanitarian crisis in Lebanon deepened, with nearly 800 people killed and nearly 850,000 displaced as Israel launched waves of strikes against Iran-backed Hezbollah militants and warned there would be no let up. So yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to cover from this article about the war. I did want to also do a recap, I should say, but an update on the KC-135 refueling aircraft crash. So I got this from Good Morning America, or GMA. Pentagon identifies 6 Air Force airmen killed in KC-135 refueling aircraft crash. The Pentagon identified the 6 service members killed when a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in western Iraq on Thursday. Let's see. They run through the names of all the people. I'm just going to skip that. Apparently 3 of them, though, were from Ohio. So I guess this is one of those sad Ohio mentions. And we don't have many details on what caused the incident. I believe that there was at least something in terms of, like, from the connector. Because I think they have this from looking at the other ship involved. I keep calling it ships. I'm on boat time. Planes. Jets, whatever the fuck. But there was like a broken off piece, and there's a potentially, maybe it was like an aging issue from the KC-135. But once again, this is all speculative at this point. We don't know exactly what caused it. But it's worth noting that what is it? I keep wanting to say ship. It's not a ship. Air system, whatever the fuck. Apparently, it's usually manned by 3 people. I think this was manned by 6. But there is no parachute. There's no ejection, like no bailout system in this. You just can't have it with this air system, which is kind of crazy. But I guess that's just how the sausage is made. I mean, look, I'm not here conducting a war. I don't know. I'm not in the military. But I damn sure would not want to be in a plane, in a jet, in a insert vehicle here that I can't get out of in a situation like that. But also, you could not put me in a fucking Air Force type situation or any kind of situation, once again, where I'm on a plane. I got to do this shit all the time because, look, I'm not like nervous or like have a big fear of flying or anything. I've done it once, but I'm not trying to do that for a living. No, thank you. Nah, I'm okay. I'm good on that. But condolences to people who lost their lives in the situation. You think about this, right? Like, and I love that they're like, hey, this wasn't a hostile act. Like, it's almost like they're trying to say that this has nothing to do with Iran. It's like, what do you mean this has everything to do with Iran? This wouldn't be happening if we weren't trying to go to war with them for fucking no goddamn reason. But it's like, okay, R.I.P., flowers, all that shit. We're going to say, I could not imagine that I my last moments thinking, like, I am dying in a fucking nothing burger ass fucking situation that I didn't need to be a part of. Like, I probably got, like, a family and some shit. People are going to miss me. I'm going to miss being alive. And now I'm, fuck, I don't know. Anyway, we have one more story that I wanted to cover. Like I said, not too much today. But I think we're going to read through, I think, most of this one. Be a bit of a read along. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll close it out for the day. Yes. Hoo-wee. Oh, yeah. Let me take a breath. Ooh. All right. Man, sometimes you gotta cough to get off. From CBS News. Legal name of fugitive killed by Dallas SWAT revealed. Had had history of arrests before Representative Jasmine Crockett security role, sources say. Whew. Okie dokie. A man shot and killed by Dallas police earlier this week was a familiar figure in North Texas law enforcement and part of the security detail for U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett, sources told CBS News Texas. On Saturday, sources identified the man as 39-year-old Diamond Mazzari Robinson. He was publicly using the alias Mike King and had been using aliases while running a business that placed officers in off-duty jobs. Robinson was killed Wednesday night after a standoff with Dallas police SWAT officers. Police said he fled into a hospital parking garage, barricaded himself inside a vehicle, and was forced out by tear gas before pulling a gun on officers. Sources said he was the subject of a federal investigation in which he was wanted for impersonating a law enforcement officer. Now, look, y'all know I love a fucking fake it till you make it story. I love when a motherfucker hustles and flows and gets the goddamn bag. And sometimes I gotta say, I even kind of like when they get away with that shit. But, dude, I just can't imagine riding this tightrope, razor's edge situation where you are elbow to asshole with law enforcement seemingly, I guess, every day. You're handling literally law enforcement people trying to, like, I guess, get them security jobs or whatever the fuck. And you are not valid. You have no credentials. You have no good background here outside of some criminal shit. And it's like, dog, that's kind of wild that you decided to fly so high. But, I mean, you were hitting it. You got it all the way up to you're literally working for Jasmine Crockett, which I feel like there's got to be maybe something there potentially in terms of, like, is there some, like, I don't know, legality that, I don't know. We'll keep reading a bit and then maybe I'll say some more. But actually, let's just keep reading. Sources said he was the subject of a federal investigation in which he was wanted for impersonating law enforcement officer. I don't know if I read that part. Anyway, CBS News Texas has been researching Robinson's criminal history, which includes 7 arrests for theft in Dallas, Duncanville, Irving, Dallas County, and by the Texas State Department of Public Safety. All of the arrests were between 2009 and 2012 and include misdemeanor and felony charges. It appears his sentences for those convictions, which he pleaded guilty to all, led to only fines, no more than $2,500, and sentences of probation from 1 to 5 years, and in one case, 10 years. Okay, but I mean, I still feel that's something that anyone could have just looked up at a given point. But once again, I think no one's really thinking about that. And I think maybe in these kind of times of this administration, you're just like, whatever, who gives a fuck? I don't know. It is just kind of strange for me that this guy just kind of just glided on through. Despite that criminal background, sources said Robinson was able to forge a new identity as Mike King, where he not only became a prominent figure as a security officer for Representative Jasmine Crockett while in office and during her recent U.S. Senate campaign. Sources said the convicted felon was also able to run a business, placing North Texas law enforcement officers in off-duty jobs through his business called Off-Duty Police Services. Some of those officers told CBS News that Robinson, who they knew as Mike King, told him he was a detective with U.S. Capitol Police, which may have led to the federal investigation that resulted in the hunt for him this week. Which would be crazy that it's like you just embellished yourself a little bit too hard, bro. Like, if you maybe tone down on that, maybe you go a little bit longer with this fucking grift that you got. Because you gotta call it a grift. Like, it's not real. You're not real. You are a criminal masquerading as, a fucking copper. Which I gotta say, I mean, salute, but once again, you just took it too far with those credentials, brother. Anyway, images obtained by CBS News Texas show Robinson standing close to Crockett at events and on the campaign trail during her recent run for a U.S. Senate seat. Sources said he oversaw teams of security officers at several downtown Dallas hotels and at his church. Law enforcement sources also said Robinson drove a replica undercover police vehicle and used license plates stolen from cars outside a military recruiting office. Sources said Robinson was also using his law enforcement officer placement service to promote security jobs for the upcoming FIFA World Cup games in DFW for $90 an hour. His criminal background raises questions about how he managed extra duty jobs for police officers and secured a high-level security role for a sitting member of Congress. Documents obtained by CBS News Texas show a person named Mike King received payments for security services from Crockett as recently as last year. One payment was for $340, but it's unclear how he was hired and how much he was earning as one of her primary security officers. Because doesn't that seem low? $340, right? That seems meager. Even if we're talking like a weekly check for what you're fucking doing, I'm thinking no fucking way. So that right there was, I guess, a footnote that I wanted to make because I'm like, something's weird there. No? Maybe I'm wrong. Once again, my speculation hat is back on. But, not that I'm saying Crockett ain't valid. I'm just saying I don't think she was the one to win a fucking election, at least for Senate. But whatever. Let's just keep going. But like, once again, I just question mark that because it's like, that just doesn't seem like a good number, but maybe then that would be an argument of contingent. Like, that's why we hired a guy like this, because he was doing so much for like kind of so little. But like, it's like, doesn't that seem a little weird? Anyway, Crockett staff told CBS News Texas it's waiting for more information before answering questions. Excuse me. The Dallas Police Department is also not commenting at this time. Like, hey, well, let's dig through our crates and make sure we're all good and legal on our end before we say any statements, if we do. CBS News Texas has also contacted U.S. Capitol Police about whether Robinson was ever subjected to a criminal background check, but have not received a response. See, once again, that is what I'm saying. Like, you look at a lot of these people, you look at the times that we're in. Do they really give a shit to run the numbers on a guy, to run the jacket on a dude like this? No, you're just saying whatever. He's just a part of this whole process. Do we want to hire him for this or that? Yes or no? And you just do or you don't. Or you work with him or you don't. I don't know. But once again, that's just the American dream, baby. And he lived it till he didn't. But also crazy too how he went out. Like, I don't want to, speculate too hard here or do armchair psychology, but like you took this shit to a hospital parking garage or whatever. You're outed on tear gas. Like at that moment, it's GG's, dude. Like going out with the gun. What are we doing? Like it's giving Butch Cassidy. It's giving Sundance Kid. It's giving the end. I don't know, man. Like, but hey, I guess you're like, I'm not going back. I don't know, man. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see. Like on, I don't know, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. 5 stars, all the stars on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, greatly appreciated. But if you don't do any of that, that's fine. That's a-okay. That's hunky-dory to me. I appreciate you for just kicking it with me. Like I said, to the friends that listen, thank you so much. I cannot stress enough that like it is so fulfilling to be able to yap to you in this way, to be able to talk about myself, about my thoughts, about the world around us and what's going on. And at least just know that like, hey, it's heard. It just means a lot. And, I always appreciate just the people I get to talk to in real life about this. Like when I really dwell on it, there are times like just being really, random, just a thought. This was like maybe a couple weeks ago. Yes. Around the time this Iran war shit started. And I just remember I'm at Junkers talking to my friend about this shit. There's wrestling in the background. I just ate some fucking pizza. I'm drinking like, I don't know, beer X at this fucking point. And I'm just talking, just getting this shit off my chest. They're getting this shit off their chest. And that's what it's about. Like, that's why I do it. And like, it's nice to have this as just kind of like maybe my summation point, even at launch point. I don't know. So I come here to start it here, and then I keep it going on it and coming back and talking to y'all and learning, and everything kind of keeps happening. I don't know. I love this project. I love what I do, and I'm thankful for you for listening. So yeah, there you go. A little extra there. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.